Yes. I love you too. Can I have a boot?
There we go. Now up to seatbelt, okay?
I feel like I failed as a prepper, but because of the blessings of the Father, He He is taking care of everything. See, a few days ago, we had an emergency right over there on the porch. I was oblivious to it, as you saw. I was just out there cooking, and the chunk was bit by a snake. Uh, we eventually identified it because I'm not one that studies snakes. Every little once in a while, I watch those wild YouTubers. It was a white guy that would just get stung by everything, and then it's the black guy that is just as wild and crazy. Like he'll have some of the most deadliest, poisonous, vicious, like wasps, beetles, spiders, and stuff in his mouth. And then he'll just be looking at the camera, open his mouth, and some giant poisonous spider will pop out. I'm not that dude. I also don't catalog stuff like that. Like around me, like let y'all look at it. I don't know what any of those trees are. I have no clue. I am not a horticulture, or if you pronounce it correctly, horticulture, anything. I don't know what any of those grasses are, uh, any of that stuff. I am trying to figure all that stuff out now. Uh, Different people on my team, they can spot things from a distance. Oh, that's a pine. That's a ponderosa pine. That's a oak. That's a this. That's a that. Same thing comes with um, dangerous animals. That's a garter snake. That's a water snake. That's a moccasin. That's a timber rattler. That's the list goes on and on. That's a copperhead. I don't know all of these things. I did not get an education on all of that stuff. I am I have knowledge and information on so many different other things, but when it comes to the country living, the the majority of the stuff that I learned that wasn't hands-on once I moved out here, I was flying down the highway in a semi truck, halfway thinking about my fight career, halfway thinking about my trucking career, thinking about where I am going to take my family so that they can have an experience that I dreamed about since 1986 when I went down to the country in North Carolina. Was it Castle Hayne, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, near Wilmington, like down by the water. My family still has property down there, but because it's air property, it's up for grabs from anyone in the family, generations to come, that nobody is really doing anything with it. So hopefully that doesn't get lost because the burden of paying the taxes wasn't handed off to me. It went from my grandmother's mother to my grandmother to my aunt, then different cousins were talking about the property and like they want to do this, they want to do that, but nothing is really getting done with it. But that's a different type of story. My preparedness journey started years ago, maybe early early 2010. Like granted, I got into firearms in 2006 after I got shot, and the preparedness angle, like trying to figure out how to sustain, um, how to store food, not just have a pantry, because I learned that stuff from my family. I learned that from my grandmother. Like when ShopRite, if you're from the East Coast, when they had the can sale, um, you went there and stocked up all the cans. So your pantry or wherever you stored your cans at, all that stuff got refilled and replenished. You probably didn't see those cans again until what? The Thanksgiving or something like that. Maybe they were going through them. I just didn't notice it because I was a kid. I wasn't paying attention to the logistics of the household. I would just know that I'm carrying in all these cases of cans, and I I wouldn't see them until the entire family was cooking for an event. That's how they prepared for things. But what about the unexpected? The unexpected is you getting into a routine every day of cooking outside on your porch on a griddle, and your family comes out, you enjoy a meal, the dogs huddle around the griddle to try and get a little snack or a taste of something, like, oh, here's a piece of beef bacon for you, or here's a pancake for you, and they're just there nice and patient. But on this one Shabbat, last Shabbat, everything hit the fan. And then as a prepper, I wasn't prepared. I didn't feel as though that I was adequately, I don't even know if I'm saying that right because I can't hear it inside my head, that I was prepared for that day. Everything that's supposed to be in the van, I took everything out the van because the mice chewed through all the wires. Then the Dodge dealership said, you got to take everything out because we got to wire this harness. It goes all throughout the floor in your van, and we got to take everything out so we can get to it and rewire everything up because the mice chewed everything up. Okay, cool. Then the thoughts of, how am I going to redesign the van? Like last year, I took out the bed. Like we're not living in the van anymore, and if we're going to go on an adventure, still got the queen size mattress in there. We can put that on the floor, or we can. I got a hammock that can go on there, or we can carry the tent and tent camp somewhere. That would be fine, but we don't need that platform anymore for the bed so that we could fit bigger things in the van. Maybe I should have kept that in there. Maybe I need to go to our other property and get that frame, redo it so I can have that as storage up top, storage on the bottom, and be able to take it in and out. I don't know. So many thoughts, but had to take all of the stuff out of the van so that they can repair it. And then slowly I was putting things back in. I put the Badlands off-road jack in there so that if we were to get a flat tire, I could actually pick up the van, because what comes with it on in the place that I live, the van is just going to fall off of it. It's going to crumple that thing up. So put that in there. I also needed the the tire inflator, needed that, but I forgot to put my plug set in there. I forgot the crank that cranks down the spare tire. Hmm. That would have been an adventure because I did get a flat tire. Got a flat tire, so we got discharged on Monday from the hospital. Then we come home, we try and settle in. Then next day, uh, a, a member of camp, their little baby cow had needed to come from the vet and go back home. So he's like, all right, we'll just pile up in the van, get the little baby calf, and take it home. But the road that we used to live on is rocky and destroys vehicles and all that other stuff. That's why eventually on the van, I had to get the front suspension and all that stuff done. But we were coming back home and had the afternoon all planned out and get back to the pavement, and poof, the tire is flat. Holy crap. All right. Well, I got my toolkit in there. I can switch out to the spare tire. I can do all these things. I don't have the lug, but I have a socket. I can just stand on the heavy duty socket, and that'll break the nut. So I was able to do that. Then one of the county workers just so happened to drive past, and he was like, "Hey, you need some help? I can help you out. I got an air compressor. We get the spare tire off, but spare tire is perfect. The tread is all nice and good. It was dirty from from driving where I live, but there's a giant gash in it. Why is there a giant gash in it? Well, when we lived here in the van, we had friend of ours, Joseph Peary. Think he went back to his country. He helped me put in the flooring so we could put some insulation, flooring, and all that was set. But those screws went down and through and destroyed uh, that spare tire. I didn't know it, didn't recognize it the last time that the tire was messed up, and I put a brand new spare on there, and then that screw popped a hole in the sidewall. So that was a loss. That was a loss on the side of the road. Luckily, it wasn't late at night and all this other stuff. We were able to get to the tire shop. They patched it up, ordered some new tires, said come back the next day. Felt like I wasn't prepared then, because when was the last time that I checked the spare tire and make sure the spare tire was good? Why didn't I get everything that I need in the van to support the van if I'm going doing all of these things? And granted, I was preparing to get on the road to go deploy with Grindstone. That's where I'm actually supposed to be right now, if the chunk didn't get bit by the snake. Had all of my gear inside. I'm actually sitting on my bucket right now. My clothes were inside, ready to get packed and stored away, but we had to hop in the van and go. There was no time for anything. So, didn't have any clothes, didn't grab any this was the one that really threw me for a loop. We keep emergency bags that we're able to grab and just go. Ran right past them. Threw our shoes on, out the door, did not grab our emergency bags to throw them in the van and go. That would have gave us some sustainment for what we needed to go through to be able to support our little chunk while his hand is swelling up, and emergency doesn't come close to here. I I had to click on the my solar system so that the Starlink that I have on the roof turned on, because once I leave from next to my house, I have no internet. I have no cell phone service, no nothing until we get to the bottom of the mountain. So click that on, call 911 after we get out of our gate. Mind you, I am trying to call them as we're going down our driveway. Our driveway is a mile plus long. Get on the line with them. They're like, "Where are you at?" I'm telling them where I am. They want me to go further south. I'm saying, "No, I need to be going further east because that is where the closest trauma center is, 40 something minutes away." That's the close. There's a hospital closer, but don't want to go there. So we're trying to go east to the closest trauma center. They said, "Oh, well, how about we meet you at the Burger King at this exit, and we'll have the ambulance there." Get there to that ambulance, and then the there were firefighters there. I'm flying there. I had to have been doing close to 100 to get over there, and I get over there, they're firefighters, they're doing fundraising. I yell out the window to them. They clear vehicles out the way. We get over to the Burger King parking lot. They all come running over trying to help. My wife is crying. My chunk is in and out of exhaustion, hand swelling, pain, and all that stuff. I have the snake in a box because my first thought was, if they need to get venom or anti venom, they need the snake, or at least they need to know what type of snake it is. I chopped it up with a shovel, scooped it up, threw it in an empty Amazon box, threw it in the back of the van, and we're going. But I didn't have any emergency go bags. Didn't grab any of those. None of those were staged in the van as they usually are. So then I go and we get there. The ambulance finally arrives. The firefighters are checking him out. Then the ambulance gets there and we hightail it going to Fort Smith, Arkansas. They stop short. They stop in Pensacola and at the Pensacola police station, and then there they are. They're like, "This is not good. We need to life flight him." I'm thinking, "Oh, y'all needed to life flight him. I was supposed to purchase this life flight insurance months ago." I kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get it because if it's an emergency, an a helicopter needs to come and land here at the lower pastures, not us try and drive as fast as possible. If it's an emergency, we need to get them here so they can life flight them out." So I'm beating myself in the head about that. I didn't pay for that life flight insurance. I have it on my Garmin InReach, but my Garmin InReach was broke. My my Garmin InReach that like a refurbished one was supposed to get delivered on Monday. Didn't get here till today. Today is Wednesday. If I would have had that, I would have pressed the SOS button on there, started communicating back and forth with them. Maybe they would have sent a helicopter here, and the insurance that I pay for on there would have, uh, they would have just come straight here and got him to the emergency center that he needed to go to. But no, we had to fly down our dirt road, get down to that town, and then over to that town, and then make the decision that we need a helicopter because we need to get him to a pediatric trauma center as soon as possible. We get there, helicopter lands, they start doing their triage, figuring out where they're going to go, trying to get a flight plan. And they say, we're going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Cool. Can my wife get in the helicopter with y'all? No, it's just a patient, just a team. It's not enough space. Okay. Where are y'all going again? All right, cool. Uh, TJ got there. He prayed over the chunk, prayed with us, and then we hightail it to Tulsa. The helicopter beat us by 30 minutes. So my preparedness and being able to drive fast efficiently helped out. It helped to calm my mind while my wife was highly emotional because that's her baby that's in a helicopter above us, not knowing what we're going to get to when we get there. Then the messaging and the uh, everyone everyone pouring out love, pouring out prayers. I didn't know what to do, so I started just posting on social media saying, "This is what's going on now. This is where we're going." And then everyone just started converging. I had a brother that lives up in that area, has the credentials to be and go wherever he needs to go. He was there on the helicopter pad when the chunk landed. Walked with him inside. The chunk was so happy to see him and said, "Oh, it's okay. Once we're done here, the helicopter is just going to take me back to mommy and daddy." So he was so comfortable seeing that brother that he's like, "Oh, it's fine now." My hands swelling up like crazy, my arms swelling up. I from the rattlesnake bite. He was telling everybody that he got bit by a rattlesnake. So we get there. The emergency team there up at St. Francis did great. The life flight team did great. The LaFleur County EMS did great. I'm so blessed to be able to have this reckoning that I feel as though that I failed as a prepper, but the chunk is still alive. There was just enough fuel in the van to pull into the parking lot before we ran out of fuel. Granted, I have gas cans in the back. Can't refuel with gas cans while driving. Can't do that, especially when you're up there in speed. Never done anything crazy like that before. But with there were so many different things. Like I was like, oh well, I'll fill up the tank tonight after Shabbat so I can leave out and go deploy a grindstone in Texas and keep all of them in prayer that they're out there grinding, doing the Father's work, helping people out that couldn't help themselves, that they were left behind by other organizations that promised that they were going to do stuff for them. But when it was time to leave, they all just got up and left. We didn't know. So that's why Grindstone is back there again. There's so many learning objectives from this because this wasn't a exercise. This was an active drill. Usually exercises, you're training, you check this, you check that. And like, aha, you were missing that. That's no good. I felt like I was missing everything. But I'm blessed that the van was in running condition. I am blessed that we didn't get a flat on the way there because we would have just been stuck or just had to abandon the van. I am blessed that my driving skills got us down the mountain and I didn't flip it. I am blessed. That is that is really it. I am blessed. I'm blessed to have this problem. I live on all of these acres in the middle of nothing. There's wild all around me. We started seeing bobcats coming close to the house, the dogs going to fight them. Most of the time, if the dogs see a snake, they go rip it to shreds and kill it. Sometimes they get bitten, sometimes they don't. But I am blessed. That is what I keep saying over and over again. I am blessed. I don't stress the the small stuff. Oh, okay, we got a flat tire. What time is it? Can we get this taken care of? Just go. Do. And then remember, I am blessed. Today, we go to a doctor's appointment. The nursing staff, they were great, but they're like, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? Well, we sent everything over. Everything should have been sent over from St. Francis. So why are you questioning that? Like, oh, well, we need to know this. Well, I don't think you do. Then the doctor gets in there, everything is okay. He puts us at ease. He knows us from when the chunk was a baby, like right after he was born. I am blessed. We get over to Mode's Tires. Team is there ready and waiting to get the tires on the van. Oh, they go underneath. They're like, there are more nails and screws under there. Let's clean all of them, get rid of all of those so we don't puncture the new tire. That's not their job, but they did it anyway, reminding me that I am blessed. I get to train people and teach them what I've learned over the decades fighting. I am blessed to be able to do that. I come home to my dogs jumping and happy and joyful, and they want pets and cuddles and scratches and all that stuff. I am blessed. Seeing my older son football come up and tell me that he is understanding more and more of what it is to be a man, and that he realizes that he was just taken advantage and that he is understanding what I was telling him. How it could be a struggle out there, what you need to do, what you need to focus on, and that he is taking advantage and diving into his word, not letting somebody else tell him what he should be looking at in the word, reading it for himself, going to all of these different youth Bible studies so he can learn with other people his age. And I am blessed. Seeing him in the chunk in the hospital playing, having such a great time, that put me at ease. I am blessed. Having a wife that finally today, she was able to take a deep breath. Exhale, we're safe, we're home. Even though we've been home for a few days, she still couldn't take that breath of comfort. She finally did. That reminded me I am blessed. Sun is going down. I got to see another one, and I am blessed. I don't know what else to say. I know I need to get all of my gear set because maybe it's not going to be my emergency. Maybe I need to respond to somebody else's emergency. I have to get everything set and ready for the van. I have to keep everything strong in here because it may not be another emergency of mine. I have to be able to respond to somebody else's emergency that they're not prepared for that. I have to be strong because the Father gave me the strength to be strong, not only for myself, but for everyone else. And with that, that reminds me that I am blessed. I don't second guess it. My grandmother used to tell me that I am blessed. When I wasn't following the way, she would tell everybody that I'm the most Christian person that doesn't believe in Christianity or follow Christianity that she knows, and that I am blessed. I didn't understand it then, but boy, oh boy, do I understand it now because of all of this. I am blessed. Shalom.
By what they did the other one for Gamma?
Oh, for everybody. You want to tell them thank you for praying?
He was playing.
And what else?
He's a helicopter to here.
Yes, thank you for the helicopter ride to here. And what else?
He with my arm here by a great bite.
Yes, it's healing up from your snake bite.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Bye!
Just wanted to let everybody know that the chunk got released today.
Bit by water.
Yeah, because he got bit by a rattlesnake, and we're leaving the hospital, about to get in the van and head home.
Yes.
And that's it.
Bye!
Thank y'all all for your prayers
Yes.
and well wishes and everything. It's been an adventure and a journey. You want to show them your hand is no longer swollen? You go open and close it now? Awesome. Well, y'all have a blessed one. Thank you. Shalom.